Okay, hi guys, this is Amar and I hope you're doing well. The reason I'm recording these videos is I really believe in these videos, and there's 77 of you who are subscribed to this channel right now. Okay, and I have a target to post 500 videos on this channel related to books, related to inspiration, related to life. The whole idea on this channel is to inspire people to find their happiness through my books, through my writing work, through thoughts of the days which we are doing, trying to learn something every day. So I really believe in these videos. I know the quality is a problem right now, but we are in a lockdown and I can't quite afford a lot of quality because for example, if you think about the happiness series videos that I posted in the beginning of this channel, there's a happiness series. If you check out the playlists on the channel, every video costs about 4 to 5,000 rupees. So considering I'm posting a lot of videos, I can't afford. I can't spend on. I mean, I can, but I can't spend so much on the videos right now because it'll be really expensive. So I'm trying to keep the quality while me making these videos. I bought like 2 tripods. So I am really hoping that I'm adding value to this channel, and by the end of the year, when we have 500 videos, I'll post videos from my blog also, which is a happiness blog. I want people to be able to come to this channel and find reasons to be happy. I want people to be able to come to this channel and find ways to uplift their mood. I want people to come to this channel and find ways to just relax a bit from the pains of life or the vicissitudes of life, right? That's my goal, and I really believe in that. So sometimes it gets really hard for me to make these videos because I find myself demotivated, but then I realize that then I get on it again because I really believe in what I'm doing right now. So we'll continue reading. Cool. So this is the video where we're reading my book, 10 short stories. We've already read 5 of the stories, and we've just got 5 more stories left. And after that, I think I'll move to the poetry book, which is a poetry book for kids. There are 101 quirky poems, and it's on. So all my books are available on Amazon. If you search Amarvani, you will find all my books. There are 7 books there, and I'm reading all my books on this channel. So this is the second book that we're reading. It's called 10 Short Stories for Young Adults. It's also on Amazon. Cool. So let's read it. So this is the chapter called Education and Work. So in this book I've got different perspectives on different subjects. So 10 and every story has some prose and supported by a short story. So in case you are watching this first video, there are a few more videos from this book, right? 5 more before this. Cool, let's go. So education is what survives, and what has been learned has been forgotten. So B.F. Skinner, and this quote is also attributed to Albert Einstein quite often, that education is what survives and what has been learned has been forgotten. Our education lays down the foundation on which we build our lives. I'm reading from this, that's my Kindle. So our education lays down the foundation on which we build our lives. And the work that we do occupies most of our time. And since time is life, it occupies most of our life. It is cardinally important that you choose the kind of education we decide to pursue and work that we'll do. These decisions will have the most. These decisions will have the most impact on our lives than anything else. So the education that you study and or we study and the work that we do has the most important impact on our lives. And generally, I have said in my book Happiness in Your Skin that our life is largely divided into 3 parts: work, personal life, and social life. And of all those parts, work is the most important. Work is the most important. How do we go about doing this? By asking ourselves who we essentially are as human beings and how can we contribute to the world in our own way. Nice. We can only contribute through what we have, the gifts that we've been bestowed upon by the Almighty congenitally. The purpose of education is to help us understand the world through history, geography, mathematics, general sciences, social sciences, business management, economics, or any other subjects we study in life. After all, we'll forget most of what we study. What will stay, or rather what should stay, is ability, a cognitive ability to create our own world through the power of our minds. Education is our tool which prepares us to create a better world, and that's where its role ends. Work will occupy the majority of our lives. Work is what we do. Work for most people in this world is who they are. What do you do? I'm a businessman, I'm a banker, I'm a content writer, I'm a model, I'm a policeman, I'm a doctor. You see, what you do becomes who you are. It is that important. Let me tell you a story. So this is where the story starts. It's a story of three friends. They graduated from the same B school and picked up straight from the campus. Their names were Sadhna, Samay and Saksham. Nice names. Sadhna was a vivacious, bubbly and voluble girl from Delhi who believed in the power of her ambitions. I don't use these kind of words in my writing anymore, voluble, because the idea when you're writing, in case you consider writing, is to use simpler words. So voluble largely means talkative. So use a simpler word when one simple word is available. So, who believed in the power of her ambitions. She thought that she was quite a thinker and it was upon her to make something of her life. She did not think that women are made to weave sweaters all day and wait for their husbands to come back home. That is not her idea of a routine or life. She wanted to succeed in whatever goal she set for herself. She had worked very hard to enter the business school just like everyone else. In India, for many of the top institutes in any field of education, the success rate is less than 5%. The rest of the candidates have to compromise with mediocrity since they cannot manage to clear the entrance examination that, as per the general perception, proves their worth or worthlessness. Sadhna's father was a businessman. He was into the business of transportation of goods within the country and owned many trucks. So financially she was not constrained and felt that in a way liberated her to follow what she really wanted to do. She did not have to take the loan since her father paid the fee. She had told her father that the fee was the last major expenditure he was incurring on her life, and she would manage her life by herself henceforth. Her father was very proud of her. He felt that she would become successful in whatever course she decides to pursue, and he supported her in every way. Sadhna's mother was supportive as well, although fairly emotional, as well as mothers are. Sadhna prided herself on having the backing of an extremely supportive sense of parents. Quite a thing to be proud of, in fact to be grateful about, because you can't quite choose our parents. She secured a distinction in the MBA program, participated in many extracurricular activities. She was also one of the most popular students of the course, and even the faculty had appreciative words for her. Sadhna got a job with a construction and real estate company, CT Constructions. She was extremely elated at the offer since she had wanted to get into real estate sector, among other choices she was looking at. CT Construction was a 30-year-old organization based in New Delhi. They had evolved from being just a small construction company to an elaborate real estate company engaged in building of malls, organized real estate units, commercial complexes, and real estate consultancy services. Sadhna has specialized in marketing in her MBA. However, she picked up for a general management role. CT Construction is expanding its base to multiple geographies and going global. Sadhna will be responsible within a year to manage one of these projects. She would be working within a team and help grow the business of the company. The first 6 to 8 months of the company would be solely dedicated to training her about the business, she was told. The company had picked up a team of 5 MBAs from different B schools, and her peers in the group had specialized in different functional domains. She was the third. It was in the third month of her training. She was enjoying herself. She called Samay to ask him how was life at his end. Hi Samay. Hi Sadhna. How are you doing? How do you like the new job? Samay was born in Jaipur and his family had migrated to Delhi when he was 10 years old. It was in Delhi that he finished most of his education. He had been a shy boy while he was growing up. He did not change much till he finished his undergraduate college. He studied English literature in his undergraduate program and worked briefly with a public relations firm before deciding he will not be able to grow much in his life without a sound postgraduate qualification, so he decided to pursue an MBA. The job in the PR firm made him confident about his creative and communication abilities, and he started talking and expressing openly and almost effortlessly. He used to handle many clients who sought the services of the firm, and this improved his confidence in dealing with people also. Since he did not have mathematics in college, was not very fond of it either, he faced a tough time cracking entrance examinations, and most of them focused on number crunching. He finally made it and thought it was a fluke, and he could not do it in case he was to be asked to repeat performance in the test again. The group discussion and interview rounds was easy for him. He was very happy at securing admission. The course was expensive and his parents had their doubts about the prospects after the course. They consented after a lot of persuasion since they did not seemingly have a choice. Samay's father was a serviceman. He worked with a multinational telecom services providing company and as an engineer. Samay knew that his father would have liked him to become an engineer, but he did not and studied literature. He had taken an education loan to pay half the course fee. The other half was arranged by his father. Samay's focus during the MBA program was to get a well-rounded perspective on management. He laid tremendous focus on learning from his peers in the courses. Most of them were engineers. He thought that although he could not become an engineer, he respected them a lot. He was not as conspicuous as Sadhana during the program, but successfully made his presence felt. He also wrote articles in the school magazine and helped publishing it. When the placement season began, Samay thought he'll get into an organization where he'll get to work with people from diverse backgrounds and exercise his creativity in writing and expression. He got selected in a logistics company. He did not understand how and why. All he remembered was he had said something nice at the time of the interview to impress the panel, and they decided that he will select him. There were at least 50 people who had applied for the job in the company, and he was the only one selected. He had no idea what they found in him. He had no interest in logistics whatsoever. What did they ask you? What did you answer? Tell us about it. His peers asked him after the interview. Well, they asked me why would I like to join this company. I said it is because it's a respected multinational organization in the supply chain business, and I started my career with such a company would be a great start. Excellent. What else? I told them I'm interested to learn about this business, although my previous experience is in public relations. They said they have structured training programs for people like me. Yes, it was a short interview after the selection test was over. Well done, Samay. We're proud of you. We knew that you will do so well. All the best to you. They congratulated him and life moved on. The panel had commented that his attitude was very positive and they will be able to teach him the work. They needed people with the right attitude. He had accepted the offer with a smile on his face and bewildered inside. He had taken up the offer because he wanted the job and had a loan to pay. I'm fine, Sadhana, trying to understand the logistics world. I make visits to shipping ports and understand how the shipping and logistics industry works. My company is a third-party logistics supplier. It is interesting in a way. We operate warehousing and transportation services. Yes, basically I'm learning a lot of new things. Sadhana could sense that Samay was trying to convince his own self and not her. She avoided asking any more questions. My training is going very well. It's a nice company. I maybe move to a new project at the end of the training. Oh, that's very nice. I'm happy that you're enjoying yourself. You have been a confident person, Sadhana, and you deserve the best. Thanks, Samay. Okay, listen, I've got to go now. I'll call you later. Okay, bye. Samay went to a contemplative mood after the discussion with Sadhana. He felt that Sadhana had got what she was looking for, and he had been completely unlucky. He should have waited for more companies and not just settled for any company that came his way. He had no idea about the logistics business. He was trying to convince himself every day that he found the job entertaining. He knew that he was lying to himself. He did not feel good talking to Sadhana at all. Sometimes he felt she should know what he was trying to hide, and she did. He had wanted to work in the media, but no media companies come to the campus. He had one of the best salary packages that was offered at this time. His peers were jealous of him, and many of them wanted to work with that company, and he was selected. They did not get what they wanted. He got what he did not want. But he got a job. Saksham was a quiet boy, the third guy, in the story. He had an average build with an overflowing tummy, growing from a sedentary life since he started working. He used to like playing cricket and football before he finished college. When he thought about it, those times looked as if they were a century behind. He grew up as a talkative child, but somewhere during the course of his growing up years, he had so many friends in school. They used to find hard to keep him quiet. He would play many pranks and get away. He thought that life was wonderful when he was a young child. He opted for Bachelor of Commerce for his undergraduate program in college. Since it was a general management program, general perception, the BCom is a program which does not need much intellectual rigor. His father insisted that he study CA along with BCom. He cleared the initial test but found that CA is too much for him to bear. He could not clear the intermediate papers and failed. His undergraduate courses were suffering alongside. He thought that he will take the exams once again and will try to clear them, but he could not make it again. He attempted it 3 times, he could not succeed. He had heard horror stories of people who wasted years of their lives in trying to become chartered accountants. And since they could not clear one level of exams, it destroyed them emotionally. He wanted to get out of it now, but he did not have the courage to face his father. He could not go and tell him he would not be able to become a chartered accountant, even after working so hard. He knew that his father would be furious and tell him stories of people who have been able to clear all the exams in the first attempt and how wonderful they were and how useless he was. His graduation years had frittered away and he never really got the time to grow up with many friends. The college time was gone. Many of his college friends would go partying and invite him, but he could not go since he had a CA preparation. Even when he did not have classes, the guilt of having not been able to clear the exams haunted him, and he could not even think of going to a party. He started growing quieter and distanced himself. Even his friends in college felt bad for him, but since he decided to be alone, they felt there was nothing they could do. They wondered what had happened to Saksham. They tried to tell him to relax, but the pressure was too much to bear. One evening, while sitting in his room, he thought of committing suicide. He felt that he could not take it anymore. There was no point in living life. He could not make anything of his life. BCom would not lead to any jobs. He could not become a CA. He had finished his graduation with second class in CA studies, had taken most of his time. He was frustrated, disappointed, disillusioned with life. He decided to give reality to his thoughts. This is something he could do. This will solve everything and put all the problems to rest. One day, when his parents were out, he drank a bottle of pesticide. His parents returned home to find him unconscious on the floor, with a bottle of pesticide by his side. They rushed him to the hospital, and he was operated. His parents were shocked, could not believe that the doctor told him that he drank the whole bottle of pesticide and attempted suicide. He felt that it was unfortunate that he recovered. He did not speak anything to anyone for a month. He had to see a psychiatrist, his family decided, and the doctor arranged for one. To his parents, despite Saksham spoke, he told his story to the doctor and the reasons why it felt they had to take such a step. He cried and he sobbed. The doctor told everything to his parents. They were only happy that he had survived, and the suicide bit. His father hugged him and said sorry for having created the kind of pressure that made him take the step. They decided that he'll quit chartered accountants. Saksham slowly started recovering and coming back to his senses. His father did not stress him for anything anymore. Saksham took up a job and was offered with a mutual funds company. His was a customer services profile. During the stint with the company, he learned more about how mutual funds work and gained confidence about his ability to survive in the world. He worked there for 3 years and then decided to go for MBA. He made it comfortably to the business school. He went to specialize in finance because that seemed to be the logical choice given his background. Saksham was picked up by a bank and he was based in Bombay, although he wanted to be in Delhi as it was his home. He thought that he liked Delhi better and would have liked to be placed there. His family and friends were also there, and that's where he had grown up. The number of banks and financial services companies was lesser this time on the campus, owing to the financial lockdown. The sector had suffered from a tremendous fall in confidence during the crisis. He was hired in a wealth management profile for a multinational bank. As a part of his job, he dealt almost on everyday basis with high net worth individuals. He was posted in Bombay. Bombay was the base of the bank's operations, being the commercial capital of the country. He received a reasonable salary package and thankfully did not have a loan to pay, since his father had paid for his education from his Provident Fund amount. This would eventually reduce the cumulative Provident Fund amount of his father. It made Saksham guilty about his education. He felt that he must pay back the money to his father as soon as possible. He made calls to clients and approached them if they needed the services of a wealth manager. The world of financial services is extremely vast and complicated, and he had spent many years in it already. He liked it, reminded himself. One day, Saksham was working on a portfolio of a prospective client, and he wondered, what the hell, why am I stuck in the world of these numbers that I do not like? Is this what life is about? I do not think I enjoy this. I do not think I've ever enjoyed this. It started with chartered accountants, it led me to an MBA in finance, and here I am, racking my brain on stocks, mutual funds, this investment, that investment, what the hell? He looked around at his colleagues. He suddenly decided they looked like numbers to him, dry and lifeless. They did not have one characteristics of numbers. They did not change. Most of them had been with the bank for many years and had grown old with it. There seemed to be no whiff of energy in their faces. He wondered what his future held for him. They had met in the library. Samay had started the conversation. Sadhana joined in with effervescence and Saksham was pulled along. It was start an important chapter in their lives. The program was a roller coaster at an electric pace. It had been tough and grilling, but had its exhilarating moments. Since the students got to spend time together with each other, studying day and night, partying and traveling, many of them got very close to each other. Everyone found friends who were like them. People seek congeniality, do they? The batch was an amalgamation of students from different parts of the country to become Masters of Business Administration, one of the most popular educational programs globally. They studied marketing, finance, human resources, organization behavior, leadership, and many other high-sounding subjects. They partied and laughed and cried together. It isn't a very important part of our education to teach us how to contribute to our environment, how to make friends, how to be a friend, how to survive in tough situations, and survive adversity. They did not know it, and that was some of the greatest lessons they were taking home. The level playing field allowed everyone to be themselves, and those who could seize the opportunity made the most of it. At the end of the course, as the nature of the education, they had no idea how much they remember. After all, would that be applied in the real world? how much would they be able to use what they had studied? What if it was of no use? For some of them, the question was the right decision to go for MBA? Samay called Saksham. Hi Saksham. Hi Samay. How you been, buddy? This is after MBA again. I've not. So the story is moving between backstory and the real story. I've not heard from you for a long time. Is everything fine? Yes, depends. What does everything mean? I see how's work. I've decided something. I do not like financial services. I do not like finance. What the hell? What do you mean you do not like it? You have been in this field for years, even before MBA. You were in the financial services sector. What happened? You see, Samay, that's been the blunder all this while, all these years. When I could not clear the C exams, I should have realized why. I have no fascination for accountancy or financial services. I've been doing okay professionally, but that does not mean I enjoy it. I don't. It's a pain to go to office, and I hate getting up in the morning to see the sunrise. Why does someone not swallow the sun? I see you sound very tense, Saksham. Relax, it'll be okay. The good thing is you have accepted and acknowledged this to yourself, and now you can start thinking about what you can do about this problem. Yes, you're right, Samay. Thanks. I'll think about it, but I'm decided that I'll have to move out of this rut as soon as possible. I want to come back to Delhi. Absolutely, come home, buddy. There are many people to welcome you here. How are you doing? How's Sadhana? Do you guys meet? I despise my work as much as you do. I do not like the word of logistics. I'm not saying this is bad or unexciting, just that I do not think I want to spend my life on dockyards and ships and tracking shipments and cargo. And you also need to relax, Samay. Samay and Saksham are almost supporting each other emotionally right now. Yeah, I know. I have no idea what those people saw me when they selected me. Of course I needed the job, and that is why I exactly took it. I have the freaking loan to pay, which irritates me every minute. So good you do not have the loan at least. Yes, it's good, but there's no interest in getting accumulated. But I would like to pay my father as soon as possible. He borrowed money from his Provident Fund account for me. Yes, I know. By the way, Sadhana is doing well. She's enjoying her training and she's in the sector she attracts her. She'll be posted on the company's projects at the end of the training. CT is an excellent company, man. They take such good care of employees, and that is why everyone feels a sense of ownership and responsibility. True, otherwise these days it has become sheer platitude for many companies to say that the employees are their family when they treat them like bonded labor. I'm happy for Sadhana too. Yeah. So it's decided. I'll find another job as soon as possible outside financial services. I think I like to work for a telecom company in sales. It's exciting how these technologies have changed our lives. It fascinates me. I'll start looking. Yes, go ahead by all means. See if you can find a position that's based in Delhi. Life gets simpler at home. I'll also get back to advertising public relations. Let me call my previous company. They might have positions. Yes. Okay, Samay. I hope it's time we start making life. We'll also make money, I'm sure. So I am, brother. I wish you all the best. I wish you too. Cheers to liberation. Both of them said. Haha, cheers to liberation. Both of them started scouting for jobs if they felt to do well and stay well in and where life will make better sense. Samay succeeded first and found a position in his previous company. Saksham had to struggle for some time as he found difficulty in explaining to potential recruiters why he wanted to move out of the financial services sector. But eventually he managed to land a job in Delhi with Mantel Telecom Solutions. He was delighted to come back to his home city and having come out of his finance once for all, not too late in his life. Sadhana hosted a party to celebrate the beginning of a new life for her closest friends. She could understand how good they felt, and she was very happy for them. They danced all night. Wow, it's the end of the story. Okay, so it was a great story, right? I think it was quite easy for Saksham and Samay to eventually fix their mistakes, because most of us struggle to realize what we really enjoy in our lives. I think as people, we're not brought up with the question, what do we really enjoy doing? Because that's the question we should be brought up with. That's the question we should be asking ourselves in schools and colleges, in MBA schools. What would I really enjoy doing? What do I really enjoy doing? And only on the basis of that question, we should choose our direction in life. But direction is more important than speed. And most of us in society are running in the wrong direction. I found the right direction in the mid of my 30s. And that's late. It's not easy. Because the later you realize, the more difficult it is to follow the right direction. Because you have responsibilities and there's limited time in life. So start with the right direction is the most important thing as far as professional life is concerned. Alright, I hope you find the right direction for yourself, for your work, because what you do is the most important part of your life, and you must do what puts you on fire. That'll be the end of this video. Thanks, and that'll be the end of the story. I think that is a great story. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.